The Detroit Lions currently sit at 29th in the waiver wire order. And with the 53-man roster being established yesterday, for the most part, the initial one anyway, it is time for teams to start filling their practice squad. And we'll know who we can get once 12 o'clock hits, because that is when the waiver wire deadline ends. Now, just a little update on how this works. This is coming from My Sports Update. Says this is the official waiver wire order for all players who were waived on Tuesday. There's a list below. Expect news to start trickling in at around 12 Eastern time. As always, all updates goes on to important note. Here's the deal. Teams can claim as many players as they want without worrying about other teams behind them in the order. This isn't like fantasy football. Then he gives a illustration. If the Panthers want to claim 4 players, they're getting all 4 players. It's a big roster advantage. And then he gives the order. So Carolina is number 1. The Detroit Lions are all the way down here in number 29. Number 29. So if you are still trying to follow along, if the Carolina Panthers, they can claim as many people as they want off the waiver wire. Now, we can keep 16 on the practice squad. And for instance, if they are missing if they have a roster spot as well on their active roster, they can put somebody there. So the Detroit Lions, as of yesterday, had 52 spots filled. We expect one to open up once we hear where John Kaminsky is going to go. The reason the Lions put him to the active roster before moving him to IR is because they would have had to wrap his season up. Like A.J. Dillon, his season is over. There's a couple guys that came out yesterday whose season is over. So the Detroit Lions have to wait all the way. I think there was 1,000 players that were waived yesterday, something like that, somewhere between 800 and 1,000. The Lions have to wait until 20 other teams to hear what they're going to do. Now, why does that matter for us? Because we waived quite a bit of people yesterday, and we are looking for some to come back on our practice squad. But I got to thinking, the Lions can keep 16 on their practice squad. How many did they have last season? Well, I went to Wikipedia and found that they had 10 on their practice squad at one point. Now, I don't think that this is the actual finish list, because as the season went on, we wind up having Bruce Irvin on this list as well. So according to Wikipedia, we carried 10 at one point, and these are the 10. We had one quarterback, and you can just look at it here, pause this, and look at it real quick. All right. So we carried 10, but we can carry up to 16. Now, the Lions, who are the players that we have to worry about clearing waivers? Let me show you. So these guys here, and this could kind of give you a good idea of who could possibly wind up on the practice squad. Darius Fountain was on our practice squad last year. He was released. So the Detroit Lions, let's say they get 10 people on the practice squad. They got 6 spots left. They could bring any of these guys back. Tom Kennedy. And this is one of the reasons probably they were released as opposed to waived. Now, the Detroit Lions have waived Tom Kennedy before. He's cleared waivers. I don't think a team has ever picked him up. So these players can be signed not just by the Detroit Lions, but by any team in the National Football League. Now, from what there are reports coming out that Kyle Pecco here, who we thought might have been able to make the 53, could be brought back to the active roster once they decide what they're going to do with John Kaminsky. But any of these guys here, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Nate Sudfeld, Ty Summers, they can bring those guys back without any consideration as to who's going to pick them up off waivers. Now, these guys, however, all of these guys have to clear waivers. That means that if the Carolina Panthers wanted to pick up Mitchell Agude, Matthew Betts, Caden Davis, they could. We're going to know and talk about that list very soon. At 12 o'clock, we should know who's been claimed off waivers. If they clear waivers, then they can come back to the Detroit Lions, and the Detroit Lions can start filling their practice squad in. one spot is already gone because reports are coming out that we reported yesterday that Tim Patrick, the former Denver Bronco, is planning to be on the Detroit Lions practice squad. The reason we say reports is because until the Lions announce those roster moves, it is not official. So that means that the Lions currently have one spot open on their active roster, probably heading toward 2. And again, don't forget, this is the initial 53-man roster. So it could be guys that come, guys that go. No 53-man roster ends the way it begins the season, the way it ended during cut down day. So who out of this list could you want to see back that were waived and or cut? Let me know down in the comments below. A lot of news probably coming out. It's probably about to slow down for a little bit. But who is going to come back? Is it going to be Jake Fromm? Are we going to bring him back as the third quarterback on the practice squad? Are we going to bring back Nate Sudfeld? I hope not. Are we going to bring back a guy like Ty Summers? Is Matthew Betts going to get a chance to come on the practice squad and maybe work his way to the active roster? We're going to see. So keep that notification bell rung. You guys have been knocking it out the park, man. Monday, 27,000 views. Yesterday, 30,000 views. Y'all are killing it, man. And I could not be more thankful for the way you guys support this community. I love how we banter back and forth. Listen, this channel is two homies, or it is the equivalent of two homies chopping it up, right? We're not going to always agree. We're not going to always get along, but we all want the same thing. And I think that's a good dynamic to have between, people who root for the same team. So let me know your thoughts. Keep it posted here on Lions Syndicate. Soon as I do have to work, so when I come home, any news that happens, whether it's people that are no longer with the team or come to the team, we're going to talk about it, because I'm going to be keeping my eye on guys like Matthew Betts, Isaac Ukwu. Ty Summers had a small stint, but he made an impact with his team. So I'm going to let you know where everybody lands. We'll talk about it then. This channel is brought to you by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. Members, I almost forgot, all my fantasy football members. If you are a director member, I want to tell you, go check your community tab. The fantasy football announcement was there. If you are a different tier, be ready to check your community tab, because we are going to have a fantasy draft coming up very soon, and I'm going to make sure you guys know when it is. And last and certainly not least, I want to show some love to all my members, especially my syndicate director members. The top tier membership got their 6-month badge. As a matter of fact, I should have had this list pulled up, but you know who you are. If you see this badge, it's the only one that you would have this color for right now, right? So and this is the last badge for the next 6 months. It doesn't change again until 12. And just to let you guys know what the 12 one looks like, this is a different color. I want to say I think this is bronze and this is silver, something like that. I used a whole strategy behind them. It's like opal, graphite, platinum, all these different colors and stuff like that. So now we're working our way up to, I think that's bronze. I think it's gold, it's silver, then it's gold, then it's diamond or something like that. So, I had to get creative with it. But thank you guys to all of you. I appreciate it. And if your name is not on the list, I will be adding it before the next video. Like I said, I don't check memberships every day, but I see I went up to from 13 to 15. So right now, including myself, we have just enough to cover the fantasy football. So if you play, let me know in the community tab, because I need to know so that way I can reduce the league if we don't have enough, if everybody doesn't play. But anyway, you guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. Look for practice squad information coming later today. And as always, go Lions.